And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, and now it's a movie Tuesday. A movie Tuesday. Until a movie Tuesday.
Green and yellow. See what I did there? See what I did there? Huh? He's got jokes. He's got jokes. He's got the football jokes. But those Packers. Okay, that's enough of that. Welcome to Movie Tuesday, the day where I am always a week late and $1 short with my views and opinions of all things, trailers, news, and movies. Still can't talk for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah, I'm back. I don't think I went anywhere, did I? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. It's been a long week. Long disorienting week. Anywho, let's get to the news. Starting off, courtesy of IGN, Disney will remove all Star Wars and Marvel movies from Netflix in the year 2019. 2019 is going to be the year, I don't know what month specifically, but it's going to be the year where Disney is going to launch their own streaming service like Netflix, and they're taking their toys and going over there in that corner to play. So, here's the thing. I could give a fuck about Disney taking Star Wars and Marvel movies away from Netflix. That's not what I'm worried about, okay? I own the Disney movies and Star Wars and Marvel movies on video, so I can watch those anytime. Taking them away from Netflix ain't gonna hurt me. All right, that's just my opinion. What I want to know is what is going on with the Netflix / Marvel shows on Netflix. Are they taking those as well? I didn't hear any further details on what was going on with those shows. It was specifically said that they were taking the movies. So maybe since that's such a close-knit thing with Disney and Netflix, that they're just like, you can hang on to that, that should keep your subscribers from jumping ship and coming over to us. But I don't know what's going on. And so yeah, that's my whole thing. That's what I really want to know, what's going on. Why no one is just actually jumping out and addressing that, I have no idea. If they have already, I haven't seen it. I would assume that Disney's not going to take it though, because those the Netflix Marvel shows are pretty dark. I mean, the Marvel movies are pretty dark for Disney as well, and even the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are a little violent here and there and have a little bit of a explicit subject matter in it, if you're paying attention to it, if you're mature enough to catch it. But for the most part, those are pretty adult things that Disney's bringing over to their streaming service. But the TV shows, the Marvel TV shows, take it to a whole nother level, I feel, where it's like, there's people getting decapitated and shit, and I don't know. It's just those movies, or not movies, those shows are pretty violent, and then you got the fucking sex scenes in them as well. Like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones has some pretty explicit sex scenes that I don't know if Disney's gonna be cool with that or not, but who knows? Hopefully, though, I hope that those shows stay put over at Netflix, because here's my other problem with this whole thing. Do we really need another streaming service, people? I mean, this is getting out of hand now. And of all people, why is Disney having getting a streaming service? I don't understand this. Like, you guys have your own network. You have a channel, I think, don't they have 2 channels? I thought there was the Disney Channel. And then I think there's is Disney XD part of the Disney Channel? Is that just like kind of a block in the Disney Channel? Like how Toonami was like the whole anime action type cartoons on Cartoon Network. Is that what Disney XD is? Because I was under the impression that the Disney Channel and Disney XD were 2 different things. I thought that the Disney Channel was the one that played like the live action shows. And then the Disney XD channel was where they played the cartoons and stuff. But I could be wrong. I don't know. The fact of the matter is that you guys have your own network, so why do you need a streaming service? I can understand if it was something along the lines of like what Cinemax and Showtime do, where they have a streaming service, but it's more like you need to have a subscription with Cinemax, like on cable, to where like if you pay for Cinemax on cable, then you can use our streaming service, you know, as a bonus, like when you aren't at home to watch our shit, like you can watch it on your phone or tablet or something, or in a hotel room or some shit like that, you know? But that doesn't sound like what Disney is doing. It sounds like this is some separate entity under their big ass umbrella that they're doing to suck some more money out of people's pockets. And it's weird. And I don't know why it's happening. I don't know, man. Just maybe they're just tired of splitting so much money with Netflix. I have no idea. And Hulu, because isn't there like some Marvel movies on Hulu? I can't remember or not. All I know is that there's too many streaming services now. It's getting to the point where, remember like a couple years ago when people were contemplating on cutting their cable and they were like, you know, all I watch is Netflix and Hulu, and it's getting to the point now where it's like I use that more than I use my cable, so what do I need my cable for? I might as well just pay for the internet and do that. You know what I mean? Now it's starting to get to the point where it's like you got Hulu, you got Netflix, you got Amazon. I think Yahoo has a streaming service. I don't know if you got to pay for it, but I know that they have a streaming service. I said Amazon, right? Yeah. You got HBO Now, is it called? Like Now is their streaming one, but then Go is the one where if you pay for HBO cable, like you get Go. I don't know. It's so many. It's getting crazy, you know, and it's getting to the point now where if you were to cut your cable and go to like just straight up streaming like Hulu and all that shit, it probably would be the same amount, if not a little bit more than cable nowadays. Like, I feel like all these streaming services are going to scare people back into getting cable again, you know, just because there's so many of them. And, you know, they're going to get into this whole like bidding war with what show goes where and who gets what movie and stuff like that. It's going to be like the console wars, except with streaming services, where it's like, oh, I'm a fucking dedicated Netflix fanboy because, you know, they got the exclusives over there. They got the exclusives I like. They got the Daredevils. They got the Iron Fists and all that other stuff. They got House of Cards. And they're like, well, I like Hulu because Hulu's got the pat. And, you know, there's nothing better than that. And you got people over on Amazon like, oh, what about the Man in the High Castle? What do you got on that? And you know, it's just going to be this whole war thing just going on. Everybody's going to be shouting back and forth at each other. I'm not looking forward to that. The other big question is how much is this service going to cost? Because you know how Disney is, man. Disney be taxing the fuck out of their customers, okay? Have you been to Disneyland? I haven't, but I've been to Animal Kingdom years ago, and that shit was expensive as fuck, even for that time. So I don't even want to imagine how much it is now. But yeah. So what's like the average cost for streaming services? I think it's like what, $8 or is it 10? I think Netflix recently just went up. It might be 10, but let's just say the average is $10 a month. How much you want to bet Disney's gonna tax y'all, man? They're gonna be like $15, maybe even $20. I think they go as far as $20, and you know people are gonna pay for that too, because you know parents are gonna jump on that shit right away, because they're just gonna take little Timmy when he's acting like a little asshole, and they're like, here you go, Timmy, like, here's Disney streaming, just watch Disney movies all day long, you know. It's like, oh, thanks, Mom. And, you know, he's sitting in the corner just baking his brain on Captain America and Frozen 3 and shit. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna reserve judgment until I see what happens, but as of right now, I don't plan on paying for this streaming service. Like, they better be offering some good shit. Like I said, most of the shit that they're gonna be offering, I most likely own it on video, so they're gonna have to like give me some real sweet deals for that streaming service, because right now it's just Netflix for this guy here, you know, and Amazon. I think I got Amazon too. I don't know what I got anymore. But anyway, yeah, so there's that. As far as like Netflix, that's a big blow to them. That really sucks, because I'm pretty sure that having that Disney contract, I mean, they still have it until 2019, but I'm sure that having that contract is maybe making some kind of a dent in their billions of debt that they're in right now. But I don't know. But here's my suggestion. Netflix, there's a little show called Dark Matter. You know, since you guys are losing Star Wars, why don't you replace one space-faring franchise with another one? It's a little show called Dark Matter. You should go and check that out. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Moving on to the next story, courtesy of The Verge. Speaking of Star Wars, JJ Abrams has been confirmed to be the new director for Star Wars Episode 9. The prodigal son has returned. He's also going to be co-writing it with a Chris Terrio, who I have never heard of. That's not a name that rings a bell, but I am told that he wrote or helped write Argo, which I still have not seen for some reason, but I hear it's really good. And he also co-wrote Batman v Superman. So you can take that information with a grain of salt as far as like his involvement with the project. I don't know, because the script on Batman v Superman was a little you know what I'm saying? But whatever. But you know, he's got Abrams there to back him up, so you know he should be good. So yeah, JJ Abrams is back to direct Episode 9. He's gonna close out the new trilogy. I should put quotations on that for all you audio listeners out there. He's gonna be closing it out. So it's okay, dude, but once again, this is just another piece of the puzzle that I've been trying to put together for some time now, to where it's looking like it's gonna be the same story all over again. Where it's like I'm expecting Episode 9 to just be Return of the Jedi with new characters. I don't understand, dude. I really don't. Like I said, I think it was last week when I was talking about it, it seems like they're trying to get away from directors who are trying to put like their own panache to it. Like they're trying to put the lid on these directors who are like, it's time for me to take Star Wars into a new direction. They're like, whoa, no sirree, Bob, no thank you. Like you can get the fuck out. Like we need somebody here that's gonna take orders. And JJ Abrams has already proven to take orders very well by making Episode 7, which was a remix version of Episode 4, A New Hope. So yeah, right now, dude, like I said, I'm trying to reserve my judgment here, but at the same time, dude, like I'm leaning towards that way where I'm just like, fuck, dude, like The Last Jedi is just gonna be Empire Strikes Back. I'm expecting Rey and what the fuck is his name? I'm expecting Rey and Kylo Ren to like get into another fight, and he's just gonna be like, Han Solo never told you the truth about your family. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he was like, he said that you killed him, or you were his son and you killed him. And he's like, no, I am your brother. She's like, no, like that's what I'm expecting in The Last Jedi, dude. I swear on everything, man. I swear, if she is somehow linked to Luke Skywalker, or well, no, because if she's Han Solo's daughter, then she's probably, she's Leia's daughter as well. Which, yeah, if there's some link to her and Luke Skywalker, like bloodline wise, I'm gonna be pissed, dude. just wait. Like when you go see The Last Jedi, and the whole plot just happens, the whole plot twist or whatever, or the big revelation about Rey's family. If it comes out that her family was like Han Solo or just some direct relation to Luke Skywalker, just imagine my face just like in a theater. I'm just be like, fuck. So, but yeah, anyway, I guess this is cool, dude, that Abrams is coming back. I mean, I do like, I like his eye when it comes to movies. I know a lot of people give him shit for doing all kinds of lens flares and shit like that, but I'm a fan of the lens flare. I have no problem with it. So at least I have that to look forward to with Episode 9. But like I said, I really don't have much else to say on this news, except, you're just putting fuel to the fire, and me just being like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They're doing it all over again. We're stuck in a time loop, man. So yeah. Anywho, moving on to the next story. A Mr. Jared Leto, or wait, it's Jared Leto, but courtesy of IGN, we're going back to IGN here. A Mr. Jared Leto had recently talked about how he blinded himself to play a role in the upcoming Blade Runner movie. So I guess they're starting to do their rounds or whatever for promoting this movie or something, because he was doing some interview and he was talking about, because the character in the movie that he plays is blind, and I had recently watched a new trailer, which we'll get into in a little bit, but I recently watched a trailer where his eyes are all like fucking dulled out and shit, and he plays a blind person, which, you know, okay. And he was saying that he was actually blind during the filming of the movie. So what he did is that he had these special contacts that he was wearing, where it's I don't really know how blind he was, because in the article they were saying that the contacts obstruct his vision, but then like there's someone else who was saying, I think they, like the director or somebody was saying, like he was completely blind, like he needed an assistant to guide him around the set and shit in between filming, because the contacts not only, like, you know, grayed out his eyes, but it obstructed his vision, like to the point where he was blind. I was under the impression that maybe it's just a little blurry, maybe it's a little hard for him to see clearly, but you know, it just kind of goes back and forth on whether like he was completely blind or not. But anyway, so that happened, and you know, the director is all talking about like, oh man, it was like watching Jesus walk around in the temple. It was so enlightening. I almost cried. It was just a powerful moment for me and stuff like that. And I was just like, all right, you know, just like, okay, whatever you say. And then like Jared Leto was saying, I could go deeper. I didn't go deep as I usually do. And I'm just like, what the fuck does that mean? I can go deeper. It's like, what are you going to do? Actually blind yourself? Like, are you going to fucking get pepper sprayed in between takes? Like, he's just, they're like, all right, Leto, we're going to start filming in 5. He's like, okay, hey, excuse me, could you fucking spray my eyes with pepper spray, please? And he fucking starts filming. They gotta use computer effects to like take out the fucking red around his eyes, and he's just wincing the entire time. I just don't understand like how you can go deeper. Like, that's just a weird thing to say. Like, it makes me think that he went to like what are they called? Optometrists, I think. Yeah. It's like he went to an eye doctor and he was just like, okay, so here's the thing. I got this part in the movie where I'm blind, and I was wondering, is there a way for you to make me blind for real and then like reverse the procedure once the movie's done? And the doctor's just probably like, get the fuck out of my office. Oh man, that's just the stuff that runs through my head. But anyway, that's cool, dude. That would, I don't know, that's dedication right there. That would freak me out. Like, just 1 minute you're putting on contacts, and 1 minute you see as clear as day, and the next minute you're just fucking blind as shit. Like, I wore contacts before. Not like there wasn't anything wrong with my eyes. I wore like non-prescription contacts just to change the color of my eyes, because that was a little phase I went through. And one time I put it in wrong, and that shit was like scratching up my eyeball, and it fucked me up real bad, to the point where it's like, it was hard to get out because my eye was like closed, because every time I opened it, it would just be excruciating pain. So I'm just imagining that type of shit happening when you're putting these in. It's like, it's bad that you can't see, but then like, let's say if someone puts it in wrong or a piece of hair flies in there, it's just like, this shit is fucking with your eyes and you can't see shit. It's just like, ugh, it just irks me, you know? But that's cool though, dude. That's very tame for an actor, you know? Like, I've heard of method actors doing stuff to this, like even past this extent. Like, I've seen or I've heard about actors that have gone deeper with their roles for these movies, and what Jared Leto did was actually very tame compared to what other actors have done. Like, for example, the one that comes to mind for me is what was his name? Christian Bale. In the movie American Hustle, he played this character where like he was overweight, you know what I mean? He was overweight and he was bald and he had like a comb over and everything. And I can't remember if he wore a bald cap or not, but knowing Christian Bale the way I've known him through media, he seems like the type to where he literally would just fucking shave all the fucking middle section of his head down and just like practice doing a fucking comb over legit, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't wear a bald cap and that he literally just like shaved the middle of his head, like the whole crown of it off. But the other thing that he did too, since his character was overweight, he ended up gaining weight for it. And it's something that happens to where when he was gaining the weight, it was something that happened with his spine. I can't remember if like he had a slip disc or if something happened to it where the weight of that he put on kind of fucked with his back. I don't know if it was permanent or temporary, but it was something where when he was putting on weight, he fucked up his back. And that was why, like, in the movie, when he's, like, sitting certain ways, like, looking kind of awkward or, like, the way he walks and shit, like, that's legit, like, from his injury that he suffered by, like, putting on that weight and shit for that part, you know? So, like, that shit right there is crazy. You know, there's other things that I've heard, too, like, there's Hugh Jackman who like had refused to drink water during the filming of X-Men because he wanted his fucking veins to pop when he had his shirt off and shit. Who else was it? There's Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale again, where they were playing roles where they had to like fucking starve themselves and look like Ethiopians to where, you know, like Christian Bale looked like a fucking skeleton in that movie, The Machinist. And Matthew McConaughey did the same thing for Dallas Buyers Club, where like he was cutting like mass amounts of weight, and it got to the point where he took some kind of drug where it fucked up his like immune system or some shit to where like I don't know, it's like some kind of permanent injury to his like entire body, like to his nerve system or something. So like when you look at Matthew McConaughey now, where he always looks like he's sick, like it's from that role in Dallas Buyers Club where like he went hardcore and trying to lose weight, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's fucking crazy what these actors do, you know? And it goes the opposite as well when you have people like Chris Evans and Josh Brolin who are working out and getting all bulked up for these superhero parts and stuff, you know, which that's hard work too. But, you know, when people are like actually torturing their fucking bodies, we're like, I'm just going to fucking eat broccoli and drink a teaspoon of water a day so I can cut weight and get this part. It's like, calm the fuck down, dude. It's like, know your damn limits. Especially when the directors are like, okay, dude, that's enough. You cut enough weight. Like, we're good. Let's fucking film it. No, I can go deeper. Gouge my eyeballs out. I want to be blind for real. It's like, fuck. It's like, chill out. So, yeah, man. So anyway, like what Jared Leto did was very tame as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, all this talk about I could go deeper, like stop, okay? Let's learn from other actors, you know, like Heath Ledger, who fucking overdosed on sleeping pills and shit, all right? Because he fucking, his whole thing with the Joker was that he was, I think he had like refused to sleep because then he wanted to kind of like get that whole kind of like dementia kind of look when he was a Joker and stuff. Like he wanted to have that carry through more in the for the camera. Like that's great, but at the same time you're kind of fucking with your body here, so like cut that shit out. All right, so basically what I'm trying to say to all you actors out there is like, I get it, okay, I get that you want to be method, you want to get into the role, you want to be the role, but like just remember who you are, okay? You're still a person. Chill the fuck out, okay? Know your limits. Chill out with that shit, all right? It ain't that damn important. Fuck. Anyway, moving on to the next story, courtesy of Screen Rant. Speaking of chilling out, Tyrese Gibson, and I need to get my phone for this because I didn't write this down. This is like breaking news for me. I read this shit last night and I was like, dude, really? So, Tyrese Gibson got on social media, I think it was Instagram, and called out The Rock, just like publicly was, he was talking about not putting the Hobbs movie before Fast and Furious 9 because I guess they're about to start filming the Hobbs movie, which is news to me. I thought like they would have finished up the Fast and Furious movies before they started on that. So Tyrese Gibson got on Instagram and he was like, yo man, like, you know, I need you to hold off on doing that Hobbs movie, you know, and help us film Fast and Furious 9, man, you know, family first and all this other stuff, right? So I'm going to read you what he wrote, because this is so weird. I honestly don't know what the fuck is going on with this. So this is, quote, what Tyrese Gibson said on Rock's Instagram or whatever he sent him on Instagram. Quote, you will have purposely ignored the heart-to-heart moment we had in my Sprinter. I don't want to hear from you until you remember what we talked about. I'm on your timeline because you're not responding to my text messages. Hashtag Fast Family is just that, a family. We don't fly solo. End quote. So I don't know if the hashtag Fast Family is what he actually wrote. I didn't like read this. It's been taken down, so I can't like really go and confirm if this is actually what it said. But this is what I'm reading on Screen Rant. And so he put that, and then he sent like another message after that, which has also been deleted, where, let me see if I can find it. Okay. So this one says, I have never and will never have a problem with this major movie star. He's my, this is a quote, by the way. I have never and will never have a problem with this movie star. He's my brother. I'm simply trying to reach him because he won't call me back about this solo Hobbs movie. I want you to shoot it, just not right now, because the Fast 9 release date has already been announced, and we can't let our loyal fans, hashtag Fast Family, our loyal Fast and Furious fans down on any level from pushing the date. Didn't you see? God damn it. Fuck this phone. Anyway, it's just him saying like, put the Hobbs movie on hold and do Fast and Furious 9. My phone's acting weird right now. I don't know. Screen Rant's probably littered with viruses or some shit. It always does this fucking ad bullshit. But anyway, so like he wrote all this shit on Instagram, right? So here's my thing. Can we fucking stop with the fucking messages on social media? Like, seriously. Because here's the thing. I completely understand, like, you know, if you're calling somebody or texting them and they're acting like they don't keep their phone in their hand 24/7, so, you know, they don't respond to your fucking calls and messages. I completely understand that. I completely understand having to go to social media where they frequent on the daily and you're like, well, there's no way they're going to fucking ignore this shit because they're always on there. I understand. I've done that shit too. Sadly, I've had to go on social media to get in touch with someone who would not answer their phone for whatever reason, right? Here's the thing, though. Here's the difference between me and Tyrese Gibson is that I use this little option in like Instagram. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter. And I think it's even on Facebook. It should be like a pretty common thing on all social media shit. I use direct messaging, okay? So that shit doesn't show up on timeline. So a whole bunch of innocent bystanders aren't looking at this shit. I do that type of shit, okay? And I don't know why these actors can't do that. It's just so weird that they fucking call people out on social media like that, just like in the public eye. And then when you go and question them on it, they'll be like, oh, nah, man, nah, it's all good. It's all good, man. Just some brothers acting like brothers. You know what I'm saying, brother? Like, fuck that, all right? You know, like, you sit up there, you post this shit up, and then he deletes it. It's like, what the fuck are you deleting it for? Like, I'm pretty sure you, Tyrese Gibson, have millions of followers. So as soon as you post anything, you could post a fucking ellipses and people will probably jump on there like, oh man, what does it mean? Oh, ... Does that mean Fast and Furious is gonna be this? Oh man, what is he trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, so what the fuck are you gonna post something like that on social media for everybody to see and then delete it like nobody's gonna see it? You know what I'm saying? Like, just send a direct message, dude. Come on. You know? And as far as like trying to get Rock to hold off on a project, I mean, it's kind of out of his hands for the most part. I mean, unless he's like one of the producers on the movie, even then, still, it's kind of out of his hands. It's like if the filmmakers, if the brass upstairs is like, greenlight the Hobbs movie. Let's start doing this shit now so we can capitalize on the popularity. Like, he's got to do it, first of all. So asking him to hold off on it, I think you're kind of talking to the wrong person. You need to go and talk to whoever's in charge of that franchise or that spinoff and ask them, could you hold off a little bit and let us finish the whole Fast and Furious 9 thing, because we got a schedule to keep. You know what I'm saying? The other thing is, too, we all know that Dwayne Johnson is a very, very busy man. And even if they did decide to film the Hobbs movie, whether before, after, or during the filming of Fast and Furious 9, I'm pretty sure The Rock would be there, because this motherfucker is pretty much in everything. I've seen him on fucking Instagram. I follow him on Instagram. And the majority of the time, his posts are like, hey guys, I'm in the gym. Fucking doing my reps, you know, being a fucking badass, living life every day. Make sure you do the same thing. I'm The Rock. Oh yeah, life is great. You know what I mean? He's either in the gym or he's on set. Hey guys, I'm on set right now, fucking filming this movie. Such a great movie, having all kinds of fun. You know, it's sunny out here. It's all thanks to you guys. You know, all the fans out there appreciate your fucking support and all that. And blah blah blah. Make sure you follow your dreams. Fucking rock out. You know, Siri, do this for me. So, you know, it's like, The Rock's everywhere, okay? He's Mr. Multitask. He can handle it. So don't worry about him putting off one project for another one. Like, you know, he's clearly shown that he doesn't sleep. You know, sleep is the devil to him, and he just keeps on going. He's a fucking Energizer battery. Why he's not signed with Energizer, I have no idea, because he's a fucking machine, all right? So don't worry about it, Tyrese. But at the end of the day, for you, for The Rock, Michelle Rodriguez, all y'all motherfuckers, okay? When y'all got these beefs with each other, it's like, stop, all right? If you gotta get on social media, use direct messaging, all right? Let's stop with all these fucking games, all right? Stop the cheap-ass publicity stunts, if they are publicity stunts. It makes you look desperate. Chill out. Fucking movie made $1 billion last time, all right? The last thing you need is a publicity stunt. Just make the fucking movie, go into space, you know, line your cars up with heat shields so that fucking Dominic Toretto can clear the atmosphere when he jumps out of a fucking space station in his space charger and he crashes down like into the earth without ejecting his parachute, and somehow he still crawls out of the car and just like, I made it. Family. It's like, just film your fucking movie, all right? Stop worrying about this shit. It's frivolous shit. Know your limits. But anyway, I think that's it for the news. I've exhausted all my news shit that I could think of, so it's time to move on to the next segment of the trailers. So going back to the previous story with Jared Leto. Speaking of Jared Leto in Blade Runner, I watched a new trailer for Blade Runner 2049. So here's the thing. So I think the last time I talked about the first trailer that I watched, which was like a little teaser trailer, just like Ryan Gosling walking into this room and Harrison Ford kind of like just appears out of the shadows and everything. It's like, oh my God, Deckard's back. I think that was his name. I don't know. But, you know, they didn't really show that much in the teaser. They just kind of showed a little bit of what the movie would look like. So then I watched this new trailer for it, and they showed even more of the movie, as they do. So I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, man, this is a fucking beautiful looking movie, man. It just looks dope as fuck. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's weird because there's just a whole bunch of brown and shit. And it's like, this is a good looking movie for having the color brown just everywhere. You know what I mean? It reminded me of Mad Max Fury Road. You know, it's like the entire movie takes place in the fucking desert, but it's like one of the best movies I've seen in years, you know? And this movie looks no different, you know. The fusion between the fucking visual effects and everything is all just a nice mesh. I need to look up the cinematographer for it because it looks fantastic. Still don't know what the hell is going on in the movie. I'm assuming that they're going back to the same story beats of like artificial intelligence, or you know what makes, you know, the human consciousness, what makes a person, I don't know. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. Because, like, the movie visually looks really good. It has a very nice cast of people in it, just besides Gosling and Harrison Ford and Leto and shit. I think, like, Robin Wright's in it. Got a fantastic cast of people in the movie. It looks interesting, but the problem is that it's called Blade Runner 2049, and it is a sequel to Blade Runner, which I have seen numerous times, and I think I've said this before. All the times I've watched Blade Runner, I just never understood the draw that people have for it. Like, people just hold that movie in such high regard, dude. Like, they blow their fucking loads with that movie, and I don't understand it. And like I said, I've seen it numerous times. The only problem is I've never, like, watched it straight through. It's always been like, I'll watch it and I'll be so bored that I'll just get up and go do something else, and I'll come back later and try and pick up where I left off. And it's like, so I just have to, like, watch in increments. There's times where I've watched it and fell asleep. There's times I've, like, been in somebody's house and they were watching it, and I just, like, sat down and watched the rest of it next to them. And I'm just like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? I just don't. It's just going over my head. I guess I'm not smart enough or whatever to understand what the fuck is going on with this movie or what people love about it so much. But I mean, even from, like, a film perspective, like, I wasn't really feeling, like, the look of the movie. Like, if the movie looked like how it does now, like, I'd get it. But, like, I don't know. It's something weird about it. I don't understand what I'm planning on doing, because it's actually getting ready to come out pretty soon. It comes out October 6th. I'm sure that some network or some cable network or whatever is going to be showing it to catch people up and give a refresher or whatever. I'm going to try and watch it. And I'm going to try and sit down and I'm going to try and watch it straight through. And if I can do that, I'll go see this next one. But as of right now, I cannot promise that I'm going to go see that movie, because it makes me think about the first one. And I'm like, if I couldn't even understand what the fuck was going on in the first one, what makes people think I'm going to understand what the fuck is going on in the second one? Yes, it looks good, but damn it, I need a little bit more than that. So, yeah. So anyway, Blade Runner 2049. The verdict is still out on that one. Still don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, hopefully they'll be playing the old one pretty soon. I don't even think it's on Netflix, is it? Maybe I'll go check there. That should have been the first place I checked. Moving on, there's another trailer that I watched. This movie called Friend Request. So, from what I gathered on watching the trailer, it's about this chick who's, like, super popular in school or something. It's a horror movie. It's about some chick who's, like, super popular in school. I think she gets a friend request from someone and she accepts it, but then some weird shit happens. I forgot what, but, like, it's kind of blanking. I was, and I'll get into why I was blanking a little bit, but something happens to where she unfriends the girl, and the girl that she unfriends ends up killing herself. And then I'm guessing that the girl's ghost ends up coming back and fucking with this popular chick to the point where she's, like, killing people on her friends list or something. So, like, the popular chick's got to figure out why she's doing this or some shit. It looked really weird. And my knee-jerk reaction was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this movie looks like shit, okay? Like premise, look, everything, right? And then I immediately thought about this other movie that I watched that I thought looked like shit. It was called, what was it called? It's that one that's on Skype where it takes place over Skype the whole time. Unfriended. I watched that. And I remember seeing the previews to that movie, and I was like, this movie looks like shit. And then it came on theaters, and at the time, it was one of those moments where it was out in theaters. I went to the movies because I just needed to go to the movies and see a movie, right? And I had seen everything that I wanted to see in theaters. And the only thing that was on the list that I had just a modicum of interest in seeing was Unfriended. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're at the theater. Might as well go watch it. And then, I sat there. I watched it. credits started rolling, and I was like, huh, that actually wasn't too bad. Can't say it was worth seeing in theaters, but it wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? So, maybe this movie Friend Request will be like that, where it's like, it doesn't look like that great of a movie, but like, you never know. Like, if you go and check it out, you might end up liking it. So we'll have to wait and see. It's got to be one of those instances again where if I get that itch to go and see a movie and there's nothing else out and I've seen everything that I need to see, maybe I'll go check out Friend Request. But as of right now, I don't know, man. It just looks doesn't look like it's my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? But we got some time. Well, actually, no, we don't. It comes out this month, actually. September 22nd is when it comes out. So we'll be on the lookout for that. The next trailer that I've seen, and this is a weird one, because like I watched it last night and I was kind of like half asleep, so I couldn't like really understand if I was dreaming or not. But so the trailer comes on and Wesley Snipes is like talking. I was like, holy shit, like Wesley Snipes? And I was thinking it was a TV show at first, just because like the quality of it looked like it was going to be like a new show. So I was like, oh shit, like Wesley Snipes is in a new show. And then like Seth Rollins pops up, so he's like in the movie as well. And I was like, Seth Rollins, what the fuck is this movie? It's called, I had to look it up because, like I said, I was like half asleep. It's called Armed Response. It's not a show either. It's like a legit movie. So I'm gonna read the synopsis here, courtesy of Google. Trained operatives find themselves trapped inside an isolated military compound after its artificial intelligence is suddenly shut down. There they begin to experience strange and horrific phenomena. So, there you go. Armed Response, starring Seth Rollins, Wesley Snipes, Anne Heck, Gene Simmons. I'm just gonna stop there. It says it's out already too. It said it came out August 4th. Produced by WWE Studios. Now here's the thing, because I saw this too with the trailer last night. I saw that in the little like flash credits, and I was like, WWE Studios. I was like, oh shit. Because here's the thing, WWE Studios has done some good movies. What was that fucking movie? Damn it. I think it was like Dead Man Down or something. That was actually pretty good. And the one that I really liked was it Mirrors? Oh no, it wasn't Mirrors. It was Oculus. That was the one. I really liked that movie. But here's the thing. There's two types of WWE studio movies. There's the WWE studio movies where like they'll see a movie like Oculus and be like, hey, that's a nice movie. Like, you need a fucking distributor. Like, you need a production company. Like, hey, put our name on it and you can fucking get out in theaters. They're like, okay. Like, there's those types of movies, which, like, actually don't end up being that bad. They're actually, like, pretty good, right? Then there's the WWE studio movies where they're like, oh, hey, Seth Rollins, would you like a break from getting slammed onto the mat every night? Yeah, come and play in this movie, fucking Armed Response, starring Wesley Snipes. It's like, I don't know. I might go see it just for shits and giggles. But the concept, it kind of reminds me of Resident Evil, because remember when they were in the underground compound and the AI system got shut off and all the horrors that went on. So yeah, but yeah, man, fucking Armed Response. If you've seen it already, let me know. I might check it out when I get the chance, just to go and support my boy Wesley Snipes and Seth Rollins. I want to see how Seth Rollins is on camera. I mean, it, like, not in a wrestling sense, but actually like trying to be an action star or whatever in a movie. So anywho, that does it for the trailers. Nice and beefy section. You know, it doesn't always happen, but you know, we even got to sneak in a little breaking news there as well for the trailers. So now it's time to get into the bread and butter, Movie Tuesday, which you all came here for, which you're all waiting for. My impressions of it. So yeah, so let's get into the movies. The movie. It was shit. Okay? And anyone who's trying to say otherwise, like, oh my god, it was so scary. It was one of the greatest horror films ever. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to sleep for it. You're full of shit, okay? The movie wasn't good. You're a liar. You're a piece of shit for thinking that and getting everybody hyped up and doing false advertisements along with the media, okay? The movie sucked. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I wonder how many people checked out after that. So anyway, as usual, when we're dealing with properties that are derived from original sources, we got to go into this disclaimer so people know. So people will know that, they don't get their fucking facts mixed up or what they think are the facts. So, I never read the book, ever. I don't even know if it's a book or multiple books, but I never read it. I've seen the original TV movie. I do not remember it at all. There are like shards of things that I remember about the original TV movie, and even watching this movie, when they did things that I did remember, like certain like elements from the original, I still could not really piece together what was happening. Like the only thing that I can remember is just Pennywise the clown, him like talking to the kid in the sewer, and just, I don't know, like my friends send like gifts and stuff of the old school Pennywise, and I'm just like, I don't remember that part at all. My chick who went with me to go see the movie, she's one of those people where she watched the new one and she was just like, oh, the original one was more scary. This one was trying too hard. Like the original one was scary. This one wasn't scary at all. I don't know what the big deal was. I like the original, just over and over, right? And she's trying to tell me like all the shit that they did in the new movie that they did in the original and how they did it better in the original. And I'm just staring at her like with a blank expression. I'm just like, I don't remember. And she's like, how do you not remember? All those things happen. They should be etched into your brain. And I'm just like, no, I don't remember that, So like, yeah, I very, very vague on what I remember from the original movie. So do what you will with that information for what I am about to tell you next. So I watched the movie. It ended. The credits were rolling. And from the time the credits rolled all the way to when I'm recording this now, I have just been like asking myself, and I'm just like, did I like that movie? Was the movie good? Was it bad? It wasn't bad. It couldn't have been bad, but was it good? And, just had to do a lot of soul searching, because at the end of the day, for me, what I was looking for is what I always look for in horror movies. First and foremost, I want to be scared. All right. I do want a good story. In the case of this movie, when you're dealing with a killer clown that abducts children and fucking shapeshifts into like people's greatest fears and everything, and with the movie being called It, they have a lot of room to just do whatever the fuck they want to do. I mean, if they want to say that it's an alien that crashed down and just started running amok, like I'll go with that. It's like, the movie has a lot of room with the title alone. You know what I mean? But in the case of this movie, it's like, I just want to be scared. Okay, I want to be scared shitless. How people are, like when I was asking people if they're gonna go see the movie, they're like, oh no way, I don't like scary stuff. Oh, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd have nightmares. It'd be etched into my brain. I'm just like, that's what I want. That's what I want, dude. I want to stay up late at night. I want to be fucking pale in the face, okay? I want shit to scare me so bad that it scares shit out of my asshole and it runs down my goddamn leg, all right? That's what I was expecting with this movie, and I didn't get it, and I was fucking pissed. Well, not super pissed, but I was let down. There were disturbing images in the movie that happened that like really made me go like, what the fuck? You know, like you had to do like that double take for some things that were happening in the scene. And those were good, but those are few and far between. And I feel like the majority of the scares in this movie fall in that same trap that a lot of horror movies fall into, where they are completely reliant on jump scares. So there's that. So that was a big letdown for me. And I feel like with it, thinking about like the true essence of the property, the character Pennywise, with him being this character that preys on children's fear, I just felt like it'd be a lot more psychological horror type of shit going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like I said, it's just a lot of the scares are dependent on jump scares, where they have like the same type of structure, where there's just this slow build of creepy shit happening, and then the scene ends with just like a boo, you know what I mean, to get everybody to fucking jump and start wilding out, and it goes to the next scene. And I felt like that was a real letdown for me. What I'm expecting with like psychological horror dudes, I feel like people need to start using the screen more. And I feel like a good example of that is the Annabelle Creation movie, where they work with things in the background. Like, they show you stuff and they do things in the background to kind of like make you double take and kind of look and be like, did I just see what I thought I saw? You know what I mean? And they show you things that kind of like catch you off guard and just kind of like scare the shit out of you, you know? Like, I'm going for that type of stuff. And I didn't really get a lot of that in this movie. So that was like my biggest problem that I had with the movie. The other problem that I had with it was that sometimes it didn't even feel like a horror movie. Sometimes it felt like a fucking coming of age movie with some little kids. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to make the direct comparison to Stranger Things, because Stranger Things kind of has the liberty or the luxury of being an actual show with episodes, so they can actually like spend a lot more time building up some things. So I don't really want to compare it to Stranger Things, but I kind of have to, because that's what this movie kind of reminded me of, was just like a legit version of Stranger Things, where it's just these kids that are trying to like investigate these weird occurrences that are going on around town, you know, that are being caused by this killer clown running around doing shit. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's times, like the majority of the movie, I feel weighs more towards exploring the kids and their whole camaraderie with each other than it does actually having this clown run amok around town. Like, he runs amok, he does shit to like the kids and everything and everybody else around town, but I feel like it's not as much as I would have expected. There is like a lot of times where they're showing the kids interacting and doing like kid things, and sometimes like I just like have to remember, I'm like, holy shit, like is this a fucking horror movie, dude? Like, they're swimming in a lake right now, like, come on, you know what I mean? And on the subject of the kids, I mean, the kids are great. They're awesome. You know, they're very believable. I mean, they are actual kids, but right down to like the dialogue between them, like the crude humor and all that, like all that shit is great. You know, the chemistry and everything. I just wish that the movie would have like went more in the direction of them trying to solve this mystery. Like, by the time they get ready to try and like legit try and solve the mystery of what's going on around town, the movie's like almost over. It's like the last 30 minutes or so that I feel they start taking a little seriously, where the first half is a lot of them just like hanging out and getting to know each other and shit like that. But like I said, the kids are great. I couldn't tell you their names for the life of me. There's only two that I remember. One is Bev, I think. And the only reason I know that is because she was the only girl in the group. And the other is Georgie. And I can't go into why I remember Georgie. I mean, it would kind of give some things away if you decide to go see the movie. But the other reason why I remember Georgie is because I think that's a cool name. Georgie. I like saying it. It's funny. So yeah, but everybody else, like, I couldn't tell you their names. I can tell you like who they are, like mannerism wise, like physically who they are. Like, they're easy to depict. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, where it's like, if you can't tell the difference between, you know, if you kind of get your like thoughts jumbled up between Tyrion and Tywin Lannister, you're like, oh, Tyrion, aka the small guy, the dwarf, you know, Tywin, the Tyrion's dad, fucking the grumpy old dude from Last Action Hero. So yeah. But either way, like, you know, kids are great and all. It's just I felt like it went a little too hard in trying to sell us on them being kids. It's like, I get it, they're kids. Like, focus more on the mystery. Like, to give an example, one of the kids in the group, the main kid that the movie kind of sort of follows, like, his whole mission is that he's trying to find his little brother who was snatched by the clown early in the movie, right? But the kids that he hangs out with, they like kind of periodically help him out with his investigation. Like, he'll be like, oh, you know, I'm going to go over here and check out this sewer, you know, because a lot of shit like that falls down the drain ends up here. So I'm going to go see if my brother's here. Right. And they go with him, but then they're also like, dude, it's summer break and we're kids. Like, we should be having fun, you know? So they go off and have fun and shit. So it's just like this kind of weird thing that just kind of threw the movie off for me. You know what I mean? Like I said, it made me forget what I was watching sometimes. So that's kind of bad in my opinion. But yeah. So anyway, moving on with the other characters. I mean, it wouldn't really be a review or discussion without talking about it, aka Pennywise, played by Bill Skarsgård. I think he was good. I think he did a really good job as Pennywise. Well, I can't even say that because, like I said, I can't really remember the older movie, but I still feel like he did a good job of being a sinister clown, you know? Like, he had the look, and there's times where I feel like his look does more work than his actual performance, because going back to what I was saying about the scares, where they all have like that same kind of structure where like all this weird shit happens to people, and then in the end it's kind of like just him as the clown fucking going blah, 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 you know what I mean? It cuts to the next scene. Like, I just felt like they could have did a little more with him. Like, he made good use of his time when he could, but I feel like the directors or the producers could just did a little bit more with this character as far as like psychological shit. Like I was saying before, do some shit in the background, dude. Like, kind of have him off in the background and make the audience like have their eyes kind of like shift around the screen, so like they could kind of see him in the corner of their eye and be like, was that just nah, you know? They do that stuff, but they do it by causing more attention to it, where like they'll have a kid look off screen and then they'll cut to like Bill Skarsgård, like, you know, dressed up in his clown uniform, like dancing around or just like waving at the kids or some shit. And it's like, that is creepy, but I feel like it could have worked a lot better had they did it more off screen, to where you kind of have to be paying attention to notice that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm trying to say, is just, the movie is about a clown that fucking preys on people's fears psychologically. So it's like, why don't you do that to the audience? Like, fuck with them a little bit more instead of just like directly calling attention to it by having like red balloons pop up and float across the room and shit like that. You know, just, that's all I'm saying. But either way, I thought he was good. I liked his look, even though I'm a little desensitized to it, because all the promotions leading up to the movie's release has just been like full on shots of him in full costume. I feel like one of the things that really would have helped his appearance is that they would have kind of like shrouded him a little more in the shadows, you know, so you kind of make it a little hard to see what he's doing or what he looks like, you know. There's just a lot of times when they show him, like they just full on show him like in broad daylight and shit, and sometimes it just like doesn't really work as far as like creep wise goes, you know. So there's all that. But I don't know, man. That's really all I got. Those are like my gripes of the movie. Other than that, like what I liked, I thought the story was great. I thought it was executed for what it was. Like I said, it's just, it leans a little too much towards the chemistry of the kids, or like not really the chemistry, but like they're more of like their backstories and trying to like show how kiddish they are. And although the chemistry is good between them, I feel like that's really going to bite them in the ass in the next movie, because, you know, in the next movie, they're going to be grown-ups and shit. So it's like, you got to get a whole new cast of actors, and you got to go through this whole thing again of trying to like build that camaraderie up between them, because eventually they all do get together again to like take care of this threat. You know what I mean? So there is that. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, when they cast the adult actors for the next movie, hopefully they just kind of like have them hang out way before they start filming, so they can like build that camaraderie, so you can it is more believable on the screen, you know. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I like the look of the movie. I thought that there was a lot of times where it was a lot of shit happening in broad daylight, which I feel like is another thing that kind of like bogged down the horror aspect of the movie. And that is understandable because last time I checked, it is illegal to film kids at night. So maybe that's why there was a lot of like daytime stuff going on. So I guess what you can say, or I guess what you can like really boil it down to, is like maybe the next movie is going to be a lot more darker. And that's going to be the one that I end up gravitating towards too, because you're going to have the adults. You're going to deal with a lot more horrific shit. Hopefully there's going to be a lot of like night scenes and shit happening in the dark and stuff. So yeah, so I look forward to that next movie. Unfortunately, that's not until like what, 2019 or so. But yeah. So when all is said and done, I know it sounds like I didn't like the movie. I would say it was okay. I think it's my fault for falling for the hype train. I don't know why I fell for it. It's just, everybody was talking about how good the movie was, how scary it was. It was fucking, gave them so much anxiety and all that stuff. And it wasn't just critics. It was just like people who had advanced screenings and all that stuff, like leading all the way up to when I actually got to go see the movie. Just friends talking about how scary it was. I fell for the hype, okay? And that's my own damn fault. I'm sorry for that. But at the end of the day, like, breaking down the movie, I'm like, it was okay. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was bad. Is it worth going to see in theaters? I honestly think that you could wait till it comes out on video or on demand or something. But if you are going to go see it, I will say I would highly recommend waiting until the excitement dies down, when there's not like a whole bunch of teenagers still like going to see the movie. Wait till like maybe when they're about to take it out of theaters, or go like first thing in the morning so you can just watch it with a whole bunch of old people, because otherwise you're gonna have to deal with the bullshit of obnoxious screamers when the jump scares happen. You're gonna have to deal with fucking the commentators was like, oh, Jesus, bro, fucking room's filled with frogs. I fucking hate frogs, man. Frogs, fucking hate them. Like, you had to deal with shit like that. Like, I had to deal with a little bit, but, yeah. And then if you're going to go see it in theaters, another thing I recommend, too, is just temper expectations, okay? Just keep it on the low, all right? Don't go in there like I did, where I was all the way up here and I was just like, yes, I'm finally about to get my fucking brain melted from all the fucking scariness. Like, don't go in there like that. Just go in there calm, cool, and collected, and take the movie as it is. So yeah, and go to the bathroom before you watch it as well, because it is kind of long. It's like a little over 2 hours. But it felt a little longer than that. Because like I said, there are times when I was watching the movie and I was just like, dude, is this a fucking kids movie or is this a horror movie, okay? When's somebody gonna die? So, but anyway, that's all I got. All right. That's all I got for you. Now, here's the thing. So I said I had some things to address at the end of the show. So here's what's going to happen, because what I'm going to address has nothing to do with movies at all. So if you just came here for movies, now's the time to bounce, okay? That was Movie Tuesday. Now it's just another day. If you are still here, here's what I need. I need your help, all right? And do not worry. It's not money, all right? Stop thinking it's always money. Jesus Christ. I have a job, people, all right? We're good, all right? Podcasts aren't that expensive. They're expensive, but they're not that expensive. So don't worry. It's not about money. There's gonna come a time, I'm working on some shit right now, where there's gonna come a time where I am going to try and persuade you to give me money in exchange for something. Don't worry, it's not gonna be the podcast. It's gonna be something cool, like my shit. Not my actual shit, but my shit. All right, you feel me? But don't worry, it's not money. It's something way more expensive than money. All right, it's your time that I need. Now, here's what's going on. As soon as I find the fucking thing here, because I gotta read this shit. Now, here's what's going on. There's this show that I watch. Alright? And it recently got canceled. And it was so bad. It was so bad. And you're probably thinking, oh, if it got canceled, it must not be that good. No, it's not the case, okay? The show was good. It was fantastic. The problem is there was some kind of little, like, technicality with it where, okay, so the show is called Dark Matter, first of all. And it was on the Sci-Fi Network. So what happened was they just finished up their third season. And the third season, they fucking left it on, like, just this big-ass fucking cliffhanger, right? Like, it was huge. Like, it's one of those things where it's just, like, when it happens, like, your eyes are all bulged open, and then the credits start rolling, and you're like, no! Because it's the season finale, so you're like, no, a whole year, no, I can't. You know what I mean? So, like, that shit happened. And so the big cliffhanger happened, and then after that, on Twitter, like, Twitter just started blowing up. My Twitter, not yours, because you probably don't follow what I follow, but Twitter just started blowing up. Everybody just like, oh man, hashtag SaveDarkMatter, or renew Dark Matter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened, So I came across this article, and there was like, Sci-Fi fucking canceled Dark Matter after 3 seasons. And I was, and my whole world just came crashing down. Like, I was fucking livid reading that, right? So so I looked into it. Recently the creator of the show, like, they came out and they just explained it all, and they were just like, yeah, it was like, so basically what it came down to was money. Not that the show was like super expensive. It was like they always had like a tight budget every season, but it basically came down to, even though when the show starts it says a sci-fi original, it wasn't truly a original show from Sci-Fi. It was a show that they had an interest in, so they made like this joint deal with like another network to like show it on Sci-Fi, So over the years, over the 3 years that they're doing of Dark Matter, Sci-Fi had been making more and more original shows where, like Winona Earp and they had 12 Monkeys was on there around the same time Dark Matter was, but they just kept coming out with all these other shows that were like true original sci-fi shows, right? And it got to the point where I guess they were just trying to make room for those shows, because they were just like, well, we don't really own Dark Matter, and it gets good reviews and it's good critically and stuff, and viewership. It's got a pretty standard like viewership going on, but we're just going to fucking toss it because we want to make some room for these shows that we actually have control over. These shows where we can actually go like 7 or 8 seasons and get syndication on other networks and stuff and make even more money, which they couldn't really do that with Dark Matter, because the original concept of the show from the creators was that they wanted to do 5 seasons and that was it. Whether they were going to go past that or not, depending on the popularity of the show, I don't have any idea, but their original plan was 5 seasons and we're done. With them finishing up season 3, I'm guessing Sci-Fi looked at that and they were like, well, you guys are going to be done in 2 years anyway. Let's just fucking cut the ties now, So they kicked them to the curb, Sucks. It really does. Hurts my heart that it happened. So anyway, this whole thing went down. I'm all pissed, because I'm like, man, fucking another show is canceled, and this is bad because, like I said, season 3 just ended on a fucking cliffhanger, man. Like, just leave me hanging. It's one thing to like watch a show, the first season, and it doesn't do well, and they cancel it. That's fine. That's understandable. That's usually what happens to me. Is like a new show comes on, I get all invested in it, and it doesn't really do that well, and they're like, all right, we're canceling it. That happened with that show Terriers. But it was 1 season, so I'm like, all right, dude, 1 season. We're good. But here, where you're like 3 seasons deep and you just decide to cancel it, no closure at all, it hurts. It hurts really bad. So usually what happens is when the show ends, usually you get like the creator or the actors on the show, and they'll be like, hey guys, like it's been a good ride, but the people have spoken and the network has spoken. The show is no more. We had lots of fun. Thanks for the support. Blah, 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 blah. See you guys around. And bam, you're done, right? That's not what happened with this show. Twitter just kept on blowing up. Fans were just like, nope, fuck that. We're signing petitions. We're gonna renew this show. We're gonna make all kinds of noise, and hopefully somebody's gonna pick this show up because we're gonna make all the noise in the world because we're the biggest fans of this franchise and blah, 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 like just going crazy, right? It wasn't just the fans doing it; it was the fucking creators doing it. Like the creator has a blog where he's like constantly just talking about the day to day, where he's like, I got a meeting for this, I got a meeting for that. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but all I'm saying is I'm trying to make some shit happen, right? And so he's got the blog where he updates everybody on what's going on, and then he started this Twitter account where they do these hashtag events where specific I think it's every Friday at a specific time they want people to start hashtagging. So they'll do what were your favorite moments of Dark Matter, and put it here and put hashtag favorite or put hashtag Dark Matter moment, right? And they want people to do it at a specific time so that it just causes this big ass bubble on Twitter. And my thought is, or what I'm thinking, what I'm guessing is that he's using that to go into his meetings and be like, hey, here's a show that we were doing. It got canceled. We did 3 seasons. We wanted to do 5. It got canceled. Fans are livid. We're livid. We're still trying to make this happen. We don't want to leave them hanging. Look at all these people on Twitter. Look at the charts on the hashtags. We're number 4 here. We're number 1 over here. We're number 2. Look at all this. This could be your fan base. You could get this many people. This is guaranteed. I'm guessing that's what the plan is on what he's doing, because they're still doing it. So that's what I've been doing. So anybody who's been dropping by my Twitter, seeing weird stuff like hashtag Dark Matter moments and stuff like that, that's what that's all about. All right. And and the reason why I'm doing it is because I really love the show. It's great. I would say I would put it in my top 5 greatest shows of all time. Honestly, y'all should know me by now. If this ain't your first rodeo, I'm not putting 100 on 10. This is legit how I feel about this show. So it's that's what's fueling me to do this. Another thing, the main thing that's fueling me to do it is that the creators and the actors are all in on this too. Like I said, usually when a show gets canceled, creators and the actors are moving on to bigger and better things day one. You know what I mean? It's been maybe I want to say 2. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Okay. And like I said, my Twitter has been blowing up every day of people just hashtagging stuff these events and everything. And it's not just the creators. It's not just the fans. It's the actual actors of the show who are I'm not ready to leave this show. I love this show. I love this character that I play. I love the story that we're telling. And I want to see how it ends as well. So hashtag Dark Matter moment, hashtag SaveDarkMatter, all this stuff. They're in the loop as well. And they're participating as well. And that's crazy because I've never seen that before, ever. Okay. I've heard stories about shows that get canceled and people sign petitions and stuff like that. And every now and then you'll see some stuff get renewed. I think the latest one that I remember was Longmire. That got canceled and then Netflix ended up picking it up shortly after. I don't know if there was a campaign for it. I'm pretty sure there was, because Longmire does have a pretty good fan base, but I don't remember seeing anything on Twitter about it. And maybe that's just because I don't follow Longmire on Twitter, but I follow Dark Matter. So it's blowing up every day. So here's what I need you to do. So long story short, this is what I need you to do. I need you to either go on Netflix, or if you have Sci-Fi, go to Sci-Fi On Demand and start watching Dark Matter. At least watch the first episode, okay? I would like you to do the rule of 3 and just do at least 3 episodes, but I feel that you could get hooked just off of the first episode because this show is notorious for its cliffhangers. And so yeah, I feel like you can get hooked off of the first episode, but I would say give it 3 episodes. If you like it, then I need you to go on Twitter and follow @DarkMatterFTL and just follow the instructions. Okay. If you watch the first episode and you're not feeling it, hey man, I appreciate you taking the time to help your boy out. I mean, just let's try and remember that this is episode 38 of Movie Tuesday, okay? I've sacrificed lots of time to give you the knowledge of movies, okay? It's been a long time, people, so I'm asking you to help me out and save my show here. But yeah, if you're not feeling the show, I appreciate you taking the time to do it. But yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a thing on Twitter, I'm doing the whole Twitter explosion thing. So I apologize to anybody who's like offended or annoyed by my tweets of dark matter moments, but just mute me or something. And because I'm gonna keep doing it until I get a definitive answer of yes or no, this show gets saved. I really hope it gets saved though, because the only other option is that they just finish it out in comic book form. And I mean, I read comic books, so that wouldn't be a problem for me, but for somebody else who's not into comics, like that would suck for them. So I don't want that to happen. If that is what has to happen, I'll take it. But I'm trying to think for the majority of the fans here, for people who aren't into comics. And I want to see the actors portraying these characters and not just reading the words that people write on a piece of paper and with drawings and stuff, So there's that. So I'm doing that on Twitter. I'm doing this right now at the end of a movie show that's supposed to be about movies. And I'm going back and forth on whether I should do like a Let's Watch where I too go on Netflix and just rewatch all of Dark Matter from season 1 all the way. I think there's 2 seasons on Netflix right now. So I'll watch all the way from season 1 to season 3 because I still have season 3 on my DVR. I mean, I already like rewatched the show, but like this time I'll rewatch it and then I'll like commentate over it, and then like you can watch it and then you can watch me watch it and you can kind of like hear me commentating and it'll be like we're watching it together. You know what I'm saying? We can do some stuff like that. I'm thinking of either doing that or just doing like an after show where I recap the episodes. Like, I don't know. I'm still trying to think about it. That's a lot of work. That's a lot more work that I have to do on top of the work that I already do, but god damn it, it's worth it. Okay? You understand? I love this show. Let me just give you a brief synopsis of it. So basically the show is about, it's the spaceship, right? And there's people on the spaceship. There's like 6 people on it. And they're in stasis, and they get out of stasis because there's like some alarm going on the ship. So they all wake up out of stasis to shut the alarm off. And they find out that they have no memory of who they are. They don't even know who each other are. They're just 6 strangers on the ship who possibly knew each other at one point, but for some reason they don't know each other anymore. They just lost all their memories. They still have like some basic functions, They're still like traits that they keep, like that's muscle memory. So like one of them is like the captain of the ship. So they know how to like work things on the ship without really knowing what they're doing, So there's like stuff like that. So eventually they end up finding out that someone intentionally wiped their memories, and they find out that they're actually some of the baddest and most notorious mercenaries, like criminals in the galaxy, right? And people either hate them or they fear them. And the show is just about them just going on just miscellaneous adventures, trying to figure out who wiped their memories and why their memories got wiped. They're trying to like do odd jobs to make money, to make ends meet so they can keep the ship refueled. I mean, the best way to describe it, it's like Cowboy Bebop. Like, if you know what that is. Like, if you like Cowboy Bebop, you would probably like this show because it's kind of like the same thing. The only difference is that they don't have any memory of who they are, and they're trying to like solve that mystery. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the general synopsis I can give to you without spoiling too much. Because like I said, I would like you to just go to Netflix or Sci-Fi On Demand and start watching it. Why I like the show so much, I just like the premise of it. I think the story is really good. I think the characters are very interesting. They're well fleshed out. I like the action scenes in it. It's got really good choreography with the action scenes. The special effects are decent, but like that was the thing too. That was what made it such a good fit with sci-fi, is that they have like those kind of corny looking special effects, you know, and it really fit with the brand of sci-fi, which makes it even more hard to believe that they actually like canceled that show. The other thing, it's funny. It's funny at moments. There's times where it gets serious. Another thing that I like is that they just finished season 3, so they've been doing it for about 3 years now. This show was doing things that people fight for now, you know, where you want diversity, you want equality, you know, you want female leads, you know what I'm saying? You want badass females. You don't want just damsels in distress and shit, you know. You don't want your stereotypical dudes and girls, you know what I mean? You know, they got the will they, won't they stuff, but for the most part, like, they take chances. They take lots of risks with this show. One of the risks being like, let's just say there's some crew members in season 1 that maybe don't show up again in season 2, or maybe aren't as prevalent as they were in season 1, you know? Like they do stuff like that. Like you'll get used to seeing somebody, but then like in the next season, there's like a completely different person. And it's like, you end up like getting into this struggle internally where you're like, do I like this character more? Do I like that character more? Do I miss this character, or do I want both characters? It's like just, it's crazy how like what the show does. Like they take lots of risk and they all pay off very well. So that's just like some of the reasons why I love the show so much. But yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's the spiel, guys. That's what I need from you. I just need you to take some time and go check out Dark Matter, and then hit me up on Twitter at the Chewels, or Instagram at ChewVision, or email me chewels85@gmail.com and tell me what you think. Tell me if you liked it or not, and we'll sit there and we'll geek out together if you did. And if you didn't, you can tell me why, and I'll be like, why could you not like it? And you'd be like, because it fucking sucked. Leave me alone, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can do that. But anyway, that's all I'm asking. If you can't do it, that's fine, dude. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to fight for this shit. And hopefully you don't have to deal with the same horrors that I've had to deal with by devoting your life, devoting part of your life to a show for 3 seasons, and to have it hit you with this big ass cliffhanger, and the network's just like, we're done. And you're like, no, don't do that to me. No. You know, so anyway, that's it, man. #SaveDarkMatter. So that's it. If you stuck around, thanks for sticking around. I will see you on the next one.
And it was just another day, yeah. Just another day. Until it went to the movies, now it's a movie Tuesday. A movie Tuesday. Until a movie Tuesday.